We must speak the truth, always, no matter what, because every time we lie, no matter how small it is, we feel it somewhere deep inside. A subtle tension, a heaviness, a flicker of doubt. But imagine the opposite. A life where you don't have to remember anything because your words flow from the present moment. A life where you don't have to remember your lines or perform or keep an image. Just pure, simple truth. And suddenly your mind feels clearer and your presence undeniable, your reality softer. Let me start by giving you an example from my life. Maybe you can relate with it. I was 24 or 25 years of age and I had cheated on my girlfriend. Now, I was the guy who used to get cheated on. I was the good guy. I was not the guy who cheats. But here I was cheating. That too at the beginning of my sincere spiritual journey. So my whole self-image completely shattered. I could not face myself. I could not understand what happened, why it happened, why such a big stigma around cheating. Because I was just flying in the, I don't know which dimensions and did not have any hold on reality. And my girlfriend was not around at that time. She was supposed to come back in a couple of months, and I thought, this is a very important matter. Definitely I should not be sharing it on the phone with her. So I will wait for her to arrive and I'll tell her. So when she arrived, on the day one, of course, I could not tell her because she had just arrived. She was so happy. She had brought so many gifts and whatnot. I thought I'll tell her tomorrow. Tomorrow I couldn't tell her. I thought I'll tell her the next day. I could not tell her. Weeks passed, months passed. I began to feel like perhaps I don't need to tell her anymore. Perhaps we can just forget this happened. You see, 6 months passed like this, and she found out. All hell broke loose. For those 6 months, can you imagine? Someone so close to you, they can feel it that something is wrong. And they're living in the dark for that long. And it's not your place to choose for them. It's their choice. They have to make this choice. Okay, I was thinking, I don't know what the repercussions of this would be. Maybe she would leave me, what not. But these were all my presumptions. And it was not my place to decide for her or to keep her in dark. I should have just told her, but I was a coward. And I was someone who was trying to keep and maintain a self-image. I thought she will not understand, I will not be able to explain, and I gave myself all the excuses. And finally I got caught. And so, what I learned from this incident is that 6 months of not telling her, I was breaking from within. I was developing all kinds of psychological issues. I was developing anger issue, easily irritated, easily frustrated, not eating properly, completely shattered because this was something very new for me to learn about myself or about human nature. And I could not handle it. But I had no guts to tell her the truth. And I know for sure that the price that we paid for my lie was much bigger, much higher than the truth would have been. The truth would have settled the matter within days, within moments, would not have dragged for 6 months, but I dragged myself for 6 months, compromising my presence, remembering all those things, living in my head, in my memories, overthinking about it. 6 months. Well, now when I talk about it, I feel like I talk about my past life, or as if I'm talking about someone else, but that was me back then, and I learned my lessons from it. I knew, because I had started doing yoga as well, and one of the principles in yoga, there are many, there are 8 steps in yoga. In the first step, you have 5 things to remember. In the second step, you have 5 things to remember. Then comes the physical movement, then comes the breathing practices, and so on. One of them is to speak the truth. And so I knew that I'm a sincere yoga practitioner, and I want to learn and speak the truth. Because you see, lie becomes so habitual in our lives. We see the governments lying, we see all the people lying, we see our parents lying, we lie to our bosses, we lie to our friend, when we are going to meet a friend and they call you and ask you, where are you? You're still at home getting ready, but you tell them you are already at the metro station. This is just a harmless lie, but it creates a habit. And soon the little lies become big lies. So I want to make an appeal to you that if you wish to be totally present in your life and to feel clarity, because it's not that speaking truth will give you clarity, but it's that when you speak the truth, you don't need to think about clarity. It's clear, it's simple, it's the fact. And it's a good exercise in not being afraid, to face your fears, to not try to hold on to an image, because our experience with the world is always filtered through an image that we have created about ourselves, looks at the whole world, which is an image in our minds, and it's image shattering, image building. But when you speak the truth, it's not an image, it's what it is at any given moment. A lot of times we lie because we want to avoid conflicts. But again, it is always better to speak the truth than to try to avoid conflict. Now, many times we also lie because we don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to not rub the truth on their faces, but to say it gently, but completely. And so for that you need to learn communication skills and whatnot, and we can talk about that later. But I want to give you another example. A few years later, actually many years later, you see, I come from a traditional Hindu Brahmin family from the Himalayas in India. And my family has a reputation for being intellectuals, for being priests and whatnot. And I was the first person in the whole history of my family who got divorced. It was hard for my whole family to take it. And then I was still in Romania back then. And 2 years later, I came home. I found out that for those 2 years, my family hadn't told the relatives or the neighbors because they just didn't know how to communicate that. And when I arrived, they asked me that now the neighbors or the relatives will ask, where is your wife? What are we going to tell them? And I said, the truth. And it was so clear for me, it was so simple for me, that hey, this is the fact of my life. When I tell you the truth that I am divorced, now it's up to you what to do with that. You can think bad about me, you can think bad about my family, but it's on you. I don't have to remember anything. I don't have to conjure up some story. I just have to speak the truth. And it was already the time when I had started speaking truth, I guess 99.9%. And over time I observed that just because always speaking truth, always being clear about the fact that I don't want to remember anything. Remembering anything means living in my head, living in the past, living in the memories, and then to remember what I had told someone. And the next time when I meet that person, I need to remember what I told last time, and it's a mess. And I want to keep my mind clear and light, keep my presence clear and light. So what I had started doing, that I started making sure that in any part of my life and in all parts of my life, wherever there was still a reality based on a lie, I went back and corrected it. I called old friends and old partners and who not to settle all the matters with them. And it's not bragging, it's just trying to bring a point home that today, and this has been true for the last several years, is that there is not a single person that I need to speak to and clear any matter. There's not a single thing that I'm holding a grudge against. I've cleared all the matters from my side. I'm fully fine with my past, and I'm in the present moment. And in the present moment, as I live truthfully, my future is taken care of. You see, this is also a practice in facing your fears. I think I've already mentioned it before. This is a practice in not living with an image. So speak the truth no matter what. It might be hard in the beginning, but it's a good practice to have. Because it's not just about this speaking the truth and speaking a lie. It's about knowing who are you. And how would you like to know yourself? How would you like to remember yourself? In fact, my whole YouTube presence is based on speaking my truth, being utterly honest, sometimes sounding like a fool, perhaps sometimes sounding wise, sometimes confused, sometimes so clear, but that doesn't matter to me. The most important thing for me is that if you and I connect, you need to connect with me because of my authenticity, my honesty, and my truthfulness. Even if I build a palace based on lies, I would never be happy in that palace. I hope you see it as clearly as I see it now, is that speaking the truth. Why do you think it is mentioned in so many religions and in yoga practices in everywhere that we must speak the truth? Because in fact in yoga it is even said that the one who speaks the truth always, the goddess of truth sits on his tongue, and whatever he says comes true. Well, not to put it literally, but I see that also true in my life. Because I think very clear, I speak very clear, and I always speak the truth, and I see that whatever I wish comes true. My wishes are very limited, and so there is a whole lot of other things around it, but I can sense what they were trying to say, that when you speak the truth, whatever you say comes true. And that begins to happen. Just try it in your life. And also, when you speak the truth, all the people that were surrounding you because of your image that they had, you will know them. Only authentic people will stay. Only people who have faced their own truths in their lives and understood that there is so much lie hidden inside them as well, and they understand the importance of being truthful and honest, they will appreciate you. Your community, your friendship, your circle will be full of people who are authentic, vulnerable, and clear, and light-hearted. And if you are in any journey in your life, spiritual or not, even your psychological journey, any journey of life, speaking the truth will take you far. So I don't want to say any more on that. I think this is just good enough. If you can think of more points why one should speak the truth, please put that in the comments, and I would love to read that, and you know that a lot of people love to read that. So, okay, before we end this talk, I want to remind you again that these talks can also be found on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and also I'm starting to send community letters every week to you, because I wanted to connect with you outside the noise and the algorithm-driven world of YouTube. So just from your email to my email, a weekly communication where I will send you small practices, some resources, book recommendations, some entries from my own journal, not as a preacher or a teacher, but just sharing my honest reflection and perhaps helping you see the world in a different light. Or, you know what, we are here to remind each other and take each other home. So it's an exercise in that. If you wish to join the community letters, you will find the link in the description of this video, and the first letter will come on Sunday. All right, until then, take good care of yourselves and speak the truth, no matter what.